Hey girl, welcome back to the Her Best Self Pod. It's me, Lindsey Nickel, and I want to talk to you today about something that you're probably feeling, even if you haven't said it out loud, especially because it's summertime. Everywhere we look right now, people are shrinking. Am I right? I feel like I go on Instagram. It is so toxic. People are shrinking. There's a shot out there running rampant. There's the before and afters. There's thinness being celebrated louder than it ever has been in years. The celebrities, I kid you not, my Facebook is nothing but celebrities that are dying, literally dying with anorexia and other disorders. And we are applauding it as a society. And to me, it is disgusting. And I could just go on a tangent about this, and you know I will. But here's the thing. If you're sitting in the middle of all of this mess and you're trying to recover from it, you're trying to move toward food, toward peace, toward loving yourself, toward your life, while the whole world seems to be sprinting in the other direction, it can be a lonely place. And I see you standing there. I see you, sis, standing there. And today I want to give you something truer to stand on. Let's do this. Hey girl, welcome to the Her Best Self podcast. I'm Lindsey Nickel, former competitive figure skater and perfectionist, turned God-led imperfect boy mom and digital CEO. If you find yourself constantly thinking about food and wondering if you'll wake up one day free from the obsessive thoughts and behaviors controlling your life, then I've created this podcast for you because I know exactly what it's like to be a downright hot mess trapped in a destructive cycle of disordered eating. I finally found freedom, and you can too, girlfriend. So if you're ready to heal your relationship with food and body and break the chains of control and show up in your best health, then grab your favorite Tarjay journal and let's get to it so you can start living your best life as your best self. Here's something I don't think we say enough. A lot of us didn't fall into this through vanity, okay? We fell into an eating disorder through wellness. Or should I say sucked in, like quicksand. Says, I wanted to be healthier. I wanted to be better. I just wanted to lose 10 pounds because somebody told me out there that I needed to. That's how it started for me. I wanted to be healthier. If that resonates with you, if you wanted to be cleaner and eat better and stronger and have more nutritious foods and become more disciplined, maybe more in control because it helped you look to be more responsible and more in line with your health, literal health. This came for me out of self-respect. And somewhere along the way, the pursuit of all of it, the pursuit of health itself, stopped serving my life and it started running the show. And I know that is true for you. The thing that was supposed to give me freedom became the thing I could not put down and get freedom from. If that's you, girl, if your eating disorder showed up wearing the costume of I'm just trying to take care of myself, I'm just trying to get healthier, then I want you to hear that you're not foolish. There's nothing wrong with you. The most well-intentioned road can often lead to somewhere dark. Because the reality is with every light, there's a shadow. And the brighter the light, the bigger the shadow. And naming that is the first and honest step out. It creates this layer of awareness. When all you can measure is the mirror and the scale and metrics, you start to believe those are the only things that matter. But sis, listen to me. Listen to me so clear today. When you're at war with your body, what you're losing isn't what you see in the mirror. You're losing what makes you you. This changed everything for me. When all you can measure is the mirror and the scale, and you get so addicted to that and the calories and the macros and all the things, and you start to believe that those are the only things that matter. Those are the only things at stake. But we're missing something that is truly under the iceberg. I like to say it's like the iceberg effect. And I think about this in all areas of my life. Half of what we see on the outside is really layer after layer after layer deep underneath the surface. So let me speak to the part of you that is quietly wondering, is what I'm doing actually hurting me? Because I've had clients recently say, Lindsey, I want you to do an episode on the loss of muscle mass. I want you to do an episode on osteo. I want you to do an episode on like what this is costing me. Sister, if that question is in you at all, listen. When you ask the question, is what I'm doing, years of doing this harming me? That is the wisest part of you, the part that's still on your side, the part of you that wants to live as long as you possibly can, the part of you that probably started this mess in the first place of on this trek to be healthier. She is tapping you on the shoulder and she's going, I'm starting to question if everything around me and culture, every truth I've been believing is true, and all of this restriction is actually costing me more than it is giving me. And here's the truth that no scale or no metric will ever tell you. Your body has been doing constant, invisible work to keep you here, to keep you steady, to keep you standing, to keep you alive, to keep you you. And it's been doing it on less than it needs to be doing it for a really long time. And I get you can function, and I get that you've believed the trend that coffee is breakfast, but that body, sis, is underfed. Your body, if it is underfed, it doesn't get to choose what it protects. It starts making quiet trade-offs that you never agreed to. It dims things. It borrows from your future to get you through the present day. I talk to my clients about like the lights turning off in the house, right? When you stop paying the electric bill, what happens? The lights start turning off in the house. But you feel it before you can name it. You're like, I know that I'm running on E. The tiredness so tired to your core, bone tired that you just can't seem to figure out. The issues, the frustrations, the cold that won't leave you, the fog where your brain used to be sharp. The way you're there at dinner, but you're also half gone. Thinking about what you're going to eat, thinking about if you should have it. That's not a weakness, sis. And it's not just in your head. That is your body literally whispering what it can't say out loud. I'm running out of what I need to keep being all of who I am. The lights are turning off in this place because that's what's really being lost, friend. Not what you see in the mirror, not the muscle loss, the fat loss, the weight loss, but what makes you you is being lost. Health was never a number. It never was. And I hate to be the one to break it to you because I bought into the same lies and the same destruction and the same madness, just as everyone is buying in to all these GLP-1, 2, 3s, okay? But the version of you that laughs without doing the math, the one who's actually there at the dinner table instead of halfway somewhere else, the one who has energy to spend time with her kids or grandkids, to pour into her work, to feel the love and gratitude and excitement of a normal Tuesday, that version of you who goes for a walk just to be in nature, not to tend to a step count or burn off more calories, the one whose mind is quiet enough to hear God, to hear you, your own heart, that allows you to dream, sis, that's what restriction takes. That's what's under the iceberg, not just the things that you can see outside, the things that make you alive. And that is why so many clients come to me and they go, I just don't even know who I am. That's because this disease strips you of that. And none of that, not one bit of it, shows up on a scale. And I know this might feel like the hardest thing you've ever done and ever faced. It was for me. I'm not even going to try to sugarcoat it, talk you out of that belief, because some days it is hard. Choose your heart. What I want you to look backward on for a second is look at what you've already survived. What are some of those hard things, the losses, the seasons that should have broken you down and they didn't? They made you better. The things that you carried that you swore you couldn't carry and yet you're still here. You have a track record, friend, whether you give yourself credit to it or not, for crushing life. Life is hard. Nobody promised us it was going to be easy, but you are someone who does hard. Both of those are true at the same time. And this one might just be a hard thing. And so I want you to kind of reframe that into thinking, oh my gosh, this is so hard. Recovery is so hard, because that's what I did. And guess what happens? Our brain does not like to do hard things. We can push ourselves. We can try to leap. We will go back into our safety net because we prefer comfort. We are wired that way. But here's what steadies me and what should steady you when the noise of the world gets loud and surrounds you, into believing that shrinking is the best. This is the type of thing that I partner with my clients on together with your personal journey, friend. But what I felt called to share with you today as a listener of this show, and that is, you were not put on this earth to spend your entire life shrinking, making yourself smaller and smaller, and thinking that's better just so that the world around you feels more comfortable. Like, what are we doing? That is not your assignment. You were made on purpose. If you hear nothing else today, hear this. You were made on purpose by a God who loves you and does not make mistakes. Don't get it twisted. He calls you worthy before you do a single thing to earn it. You don't have to do crunches. You don't have to run around the block. Galatians says it plainly. You were chosen to be free. Not free once you fixed it. Not free once you're small enough. Not free once you've run the marathon. Chosen to be free right now as you are in the middle of this mess that you find yourself in. You can feel the storm, sis, and not be the storm. And that is a word for somebody today because it has been a word for me. You can walk through this and still be the sunshine you were made to be. You can be in a dark season, and on the opposite of that dark is light. Here's the part I most need you to hear. You don't have to untangle this alone. I spent so long believing that if I was just disciplined enough, smart enough, better, or more like her, the girl in my support group, I could think my way out of this stuff. But I couldn't. What changed everything was allowing myself to give myself permission to accept and buy in and letting someone else in. It took me multiple therapists to feel safe with one person. It took me being vulnerable when I felt the system was broken, which is why I created my business from the place of what I needed and yet didn't have. This is why I believe in the value of partnering with someone who has actually been where I was and walked it out with me. Someone who could see the picture, says someone that could see inside of what you're struggling with and be like, you know what? I struggle with that too. Maybe that someone's like me. Maybe that someone's like someone else, another coach, somebody else you follow. But that's the whole reason I do this work, because I've stood exactly where you're standing and I found the way to the other side. And I'm not saying recovery and being recovered as a destination. This is, I truly feel like a lifelong journey of being able to grow and to mature and to evolve. But now I get to do that with women just like you. I get to see you blossom. So if something in you is tired of performing health, tired of the food noise, and tired of pretending that this is just who you are now when you don't even feel like you know who you are anymore, then I want to invite you in. I work one-on-one with women who are ready to stop doing this alone, and I would love for that person to be you. And inside my Freedom Formula experience, which is what I call this precious container of life and growth, you're going to be supported and surrounded, and we're going to do real work of coming home to yourself. That includes mind, body, and soul stuff. You can find out how to apply out on my website at herbestself.co. But here is something to consider, friend. If you're coming here wanting a strategy, wanting a quick fix, you don't need another plan to follow, sis. You need to remember who you are underneath all of this nonsense. And you need people in your corner while you find your way back to her. You were not born this way, right? You are chosen to be free. So let's go get her. In today's message, what I wanted you to hear was that you do not have to have it all figured out before you begin. You don't have to feel ready before you get started. You don't have to continue to buy into this nonsense that is out there selling millions and billions of dollars, that smaller is better and thin is in. In fact, I have seen an uptick in clientele just from this crazy manic stuff that we're all hearing online nowadays. That isn't your assignment. When you are stuck in that mindset of believing that you have to prove yourself and that you care so much about what other people think, and you are just obsessed in that culture of stuff, it is like a cloud. But what it really is, it keeps you small. And I don't mean literally, even though that can be the case. it keeps you in a trapped life in a box. And you don't get to see life with like the world is out there and there's so much for you. You can't possibly be growing and evolving when you are spending your life restricting your food because everything else becomes restrictive. So, friend, from today's episode, what I want you to hear is that you were chosen to be free. You were chosen to be free indeed. I love you, girl. And I'll talk to you real soon on another episode of the Her Best Self Pod. Bye for now, sis. Oh, friend, thank you so much for letting me share what was on my heart today. My hope for this podcast is to help more women find freedom from food and body. If this has empowered or blessed you, let me know. I'd be honored for your rating and review of my show, and I'd love to connect with you in my private Facebook community. You really can move from perfection to purpose. Let's break the chains together. I'll help navigate the way. Until next time, bye for now, girl.